Good morning. I am trying to get motivated. Today is let's build a compost bin. And while the end result's going to be amazing and necessary for feeding the garden with all of my rabbit droppings and bedding and, well, the new cow that's coming in, the building part of the compost bin is not really the fun part. So my motivation's just not there. I got to move all of the bark out of the way for the ground where I'm prepping it. I got to take a bunch of stuff apart, put it back together in the form that I need and want. And I'm just not motivated today. This is where the compost bin is going to go. It is inside the talk. Yes, it's going to take up a whole bunch of space. It's either this side or that side. I'm thinking that side more because the worm bin is over there and my compost tea aerator is over there. So maybe just having everything on the one wall is better, but I still have to do a whole lot of work to get it started. And I don't really want to. I've got quite the mess going on that I need to clean up and move out of the way. Still need to plant my willow bushes right there. They look sad because they're 3 to a pot and each pot is pretty small. And then I need to clean off the compost tea aerator table. I brought in azomite and my nippers are still over there and all the other stuff that I just kind of left. Just left it there. So I'm not real motivated. We found us a little friend. No. Hi, little friend. So I just put these T-posts here like 2 days ago and now I have to move them again because they're in my way. Okay, so spilled coffee on myself. That's a mortal sin. cleared out the area that I want the pallets to go into because I'm making a pallet compost bin. Now I need to go in. What are you thinking? Yeah, leave it. Now I need to dig out where the pallets are going to be sitting upright and kind of bury them in the ground a little bit to kind of give more stability until I get everything built and put together. And that'll also allow me to level everything out. So the back wall is an 8-foot pallet. Remy, come. So I'll have 2 bins. Not ideal, I wanted 3, but the pallets that they had would work perfectly for just building 2 bins. So we're gonna do that with an 8-foot pallet on the back wall and then 4-foot pallets in between each bay. So I'm gonna get the 8-foot pallet in place, see where I need to dig it out, and see if I can get at least that put in today. So the back wall is evenly distributed from that pole to that pole, 7 inches out. I was thinking it was going to be 12, but it only needed 7 in order to match the height and not touch the tunnel or the plastic. So we're good there. Well, I'm going to change this up a little bit. I'm not liking how narrow it is. It's only 8 feet, and really you want to have 4-foot bins. This won't give me 2 4-foot bins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pallets on the outside and scoot them in so that the back wall has the back wall and the pallet is then meshed up against the side of the back wall instead of the front of the back wall. That'll at least give me, it looks like 6 inches on each side, which is an entire foot. And since each bin needs to be 4 foot, taking 1 foot away, plus the 6 inches for the wall in the center, that's a lot of space not being able to be utilized. So we're going to alter this just a bit and see how that goes. It's already looking better. I think I like that better. I do need... Hey! Enough. Not bedtime. No, I don't want that. So you can see where there's these indentations in the pallet, boards on both sides. What I'm thinking is shortening the pallet by cutting it off here all the way down, all 4 of the cross beams, and leaving all of the vertical beams on the one side. And then on the other 4 beams, cutting off to make this a thin strip here, and then adding these back onto that beam so that I still have the stability on both sides, and the boards, the vertical boards on both sides, to divide the 2 bins. But it definitely needs to be shorter, and this is about the length. Basically, it's the length of the back wall, the depth of the back wall that needs to be cut off of the length of this, and that'll put us in line with the other 2 uprights. And then taking out the width of this upright in order to make it more usable friendly. Because I'm not sure how to put, I could put beams on here, but then you have not a level or an even surface. When you're doing raking, you're going to be raking a bunch of stuff into these indentation areas, and then it's just going to make more work for separating it out. Work smarter, not harder, right? So we'll make this better. I'm just going to need the skill saw for that. So I'll probably engage Wes in doing those things for me. Once I have these verticals off of the 4 boards, then I'll be able to just cut the beams. So yeah, I think I'm going to have Wes do those. So that's it today. I am so not motivated. What do you do when you're not motivated? How do you get through your day when you're not motivated? How do you push yourself through? What things do you do or think about, or what activities do you conduct when you're just not motivated? Well, gardening is one of those things that does lift my spirits. Building a compost bin is not one of those gardening activities that I'm trying to talk about. It's one of the necessary things, the tools necessary for gardening organically. So I absolutely need compost. And since I have rabbits, I need a place to put their bedding and their manure. I can put it directly onto the garden because it is a cold compost or a cold manure, but the bedding and the grass hay, not so much. So I do put some stuff. So if I separate the manure, I can put that directly on the garden, but everything else, the bedding and the grass and a bunch of the manure and the urine, go in the compost bin so that I have a good product to put on the garden. So it is sort of gardening, but it's not really. It's a different activity. But when I am feeling this way, gardening tends to do that. Being out in nature, my feet in the dirt, my hands in the dirt, it tends to improve my mood quite a bit. The movement also helps with my arthritis and my degenerating joints and my degenerating disc. So movement does help all of those things. I get moving, I get doing stuff. All of that stuff was a result of being at Fort McClellan, Alabama, toxic waste dump. And of course, the Army and the U.S. government hid that from me for 20 years. So I didn't know for the longest time why I was feeling this way and why my body was falling apart so quickly. So, but I did find an outlet. I did find a way of improving my mood, improving my physical health, and being able to feel better all the way around, physically and mentally. And that's gardening and good food. When I'm preparing a meal that I made 100% from my farm, I know that there's no toxic chemicals in my food, and it helps heal my body, as well as the movement of gardening and taking care of the animals. So those are the things that I do to help me continue on even when I feel this way. So I know there's things that people can do that can make them feel better. And that's gardening's just one of those things that make me feel better. So what makes you feel better? What makes you get back motivation when you're feeling just like you don't want to do anything? What motivates you? What gets you going? I'd love to hear that. Let me know. Until next time, I guess we'll see you again next time. Bye.